I watched my coworker take credit for my work and get promoted. When the system crashed, he couldn't even read my code. So when the CEO emailed me for help, I hit reply with proof that would ruin his career. I, 28M, have been working at a tech company for the past 4 years as a software developer, and I never thought I'd be sharing a story like this. I've always been the quiet one in the office, the guy who brings his lunch, works through breaks, and genuinely loves diving deep into code. That all changed 6 months ago when I discovered my coworker had stolen my project and used it to get promoted to team lead, a position I had been methodically working toward for 2 years. Let me start from the beginning. Our company isn't one of those flashy Silicon Valley startups. We're a mid-sized tech firm that specializes in business automation solutions. I joined right after getting my CS degree, starting in the junior developer pool before working my way up to a regular developer position. My performance reviews were always stellar, with my supervisors particularly praising my attention to detail and ability to handle complex systems. Everything was going smoothly, until last year, when our company landed its biggest client yet, a Fortune 500 company that needed a custom automation system to handle their entire supply chain management. The contract was worth millions, and everyone knew this could be a game changer for our company. My supervisor called me into his office on a Wednesday morning and told me I would be leading the project. I still remember the excitement I felt. This was my chance to prove myself worthy of that team lead position. That's when my coworker entered the picture. He had joined the company about a year after me, and while I was coding, he was mastering the art of corporate networking. You know the type, always hanging around senior management, organizing office happy hours, and somehow taking 2-hour lunches without anyone batting an eye. My supervisor assigned him as support on the project, saying his people skills would complement my technical expertise. From day one, something felt off about his involvement. He would constantly hover around my desk, asking for detailed updates and requesting access to all my documentation, claiming he needed to stay in the loop for client communications. At first, I appreciated his interest. I even spent hours walking him through my design decisions and explaining the complex algorithms I was developing. The project itself was fascinating. I was building a system that could reduce our clients' processing time by 75% through a combination of machine learning and custom automation protocols. Every night, I would lose track of time perfecting the architecture, running tests, and documenting everything meticulously. My coworker would occasionally submit minor bug fixes or UI tweaks, but I was handling the core development myself. Looking back, I should have seen the warning signs. He started scheduling regular update meetings with senior management without including me, claiming they were just informal check-ins. He would ask for copies of my documentation to proofread, and sometimes I'd notice him taking screenshots during our code review sessions. But I was so absorbed in the technical challenges that I ignored the office politics playing out right in front of me. 3 months into development, just as I was implementing the final major features, I caught a nasty flu. Not the kind you can power through with Dayquil. We're talking high fever, can't leave your bed sick. I had to take a week off, the first time I'd taken sick leave in 2 years. I emailed my supervisor and my coworker, attaching detailed notes about the remaining tasks and offering to join any urgent meetings virtually. When I returned to the office the following Monday, something had changed. People were looking at me differently, some with pity, others just avoiding eye contact altogether. It wasn't until I reached my desk that my friend from the QA team pulled me aside and told me what had happened. During my sick leave, my coworker had called an all-hands meeting with upper management. He presented the entire project as his brainchild, positioning himself as the primary architect and developer, while relegating my role to that of a junior assistant, who helped with basic coding. He had copied all my documentation, changed the authorship details, and even presented my architectural diagrams as his own. The worst part. He had timed it perfectly, knowing I was too sick to even check my emails, let alone defend myself. The presentation was a massive success. Management was impressed by the system's sophistication and his apparent technical prowess. Within days, he was promoted to team lead, complete with a significant raise and a hefty project completion bonus. When I tried to speak up, my supervisor brushed off my concerns with corporate platitudes about being a team player and how success is a collaborative effort. I later learned that he had been thoroughly convinced by my coworker's version of events through weeks of careful groundwork. I was devastated. Years of hard work, countless late nights, and genuine passion for my craft, all hijacked by someone who could barely explain how the system worked. I considered quitting, updating my LinkedIn, and starting fresh somewhere else. But something made me stay. Maybe it was stubbornness, or maybe I just knew that someone who didn't understand the system would eventually trip up. I spent the next 3 months watching him flounder in his new role as team lead. He would assign tasks that made no technical sense, approve changes that violated our core architecture, and spend most of his time in meetings, rather than addressing critical issues. I documented everything but kept quiet, knowing that in software development, technical debt always comes due. The reckoning arrived sooner than even I expected. One Thursday afternoon, our CEO scheduled an emergency all-hands meeting. The client had discovered a critical flaw in the system, one that could potentially cost them millions in lost inventory and shipping delays. They needed it fixed immediately, and naturally, all eyes turned to the genius who had supposedly built the system.